Adventures, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in a student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wayne in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Hello, everybody!
Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa.
No, we're good. Watch.
It's like magic. Wow. How'd you do that? I'm just surprised at the time. It's like I don't notice what date it is until it's said on the show. And until then, I don't realize what month it is. When you said November, I was like, it can't be November already, because I haven't noticed it, because you didn't say on the show last week, so I was surprised. Yeah, exactly. Crazy. Damn right. Not just me, you'll also be visiting my lovely wife and all my family who are now your extended family because they love you so much. Look forward to all those kisses and hugs that you will definitely get. And all those drinks that'll be bought for you as well. I don't know if you're going to regret helping us out now because of that. You are incredibly daft. That is the word I would use. It's gonna hurt in a good way, in a memorable, like, oh man, that was the time I lost my liver. I remember that. Yeah. Oh, is that the plan? I didn't know that. So we... Oh, definitely. So there's something to ask you, actually. How many times have you been to outside America? I know we went to Europe once before, but... Any other times? Have you been to Asia, or Africa, or anywhere? So you were saying we should go to Ireland at some point. To be honest, dude, Ireland is just like a crap version of Scotland, right? So what we should do instead... is we should go like France or something, man. It's cheap enough to go over there. Well, the very next day, I know for a fact you'll be in Sterling as well, so that's very good. So you'll be at least going over your expectations within the first day. Oh, well, my folks aren't from Edinburgh. Yes, we should though. They're close by though. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you've got to do that. Is the IRC reporting that nobody can hear us? That was probably when Ken messed up last week. Hello. Hello. Wait, so everybody heard everything I've said, but not what you've said. That's funny. Okay, we're aware of the audio issues, folks. So just FYI, at least one of us is aware of the problem. Okay. Wayne has actually confessed to being a racist, a homosexual, and a homophobe at the same time. All these things. Nah, that's not true. We all know he really loves me, so that's definitely not true. Uh-huh. Pause 142. Okay. Pause 2142 says YouTube audio is overrated, and he also says it's totally Bon Jovi audio. Yeah, no problem. That's now the way of saying audio is terrible, is Bon Jovi. Because I'm turtles, man. I'm turtles. Use the OBS audio, microphone thing. I had the same issue last week. Just turn on the microphone on OBS and it'll solve it. The only problem is I might not come through though. Well, then that'll definitely work. Use the microphone in OBS. Just unmute that one. That'll definitely work. Did you unmute it in through the... There's a way to cancel audio internally in the options. I can't remember what it is in OBS. Should we go to music break while we wait? I gotta choose the song then. I choose Pokemon Swedish. Does it? I don't know. No surprise actually. I don't know. Some Brad Sucks. Brad Sucks is good. Just not the depressing ones.
Laying on the floor
I just had microphone disabled and audio, that's all it was. It might be the same thing.
Okay, well, hey, it's working. There we go. Cool. All right, let's try this again, since I think I figured out what was going on.
Should we just restart the show? Just do the intro again and shit. And shiz, even.
Shiz. Since everyone can hear exactly what we're saying as we break the show, and I figure out what's broken here, so... No, we're not going to restart. I will fix it in post, right?
Sure.
Anyhow, we will continue on and do this and say, hey, look, it's back to what we were talking about. What we really want to say is, it's time for...
Functional deviations.
Hey, everybody, look at that. It's like I fixed the show. So bad. Yep, anyhow. I figured out what I was doing wrong somewhat, and we are back to almost running properly. So... let's go ahead and talk about what we've been up to. Ken, what have you been doing that's not geek?
That's not geek. Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know what I've been doing that's not geek. That really is a tough one, because pretty much everything I do in my life is geeky. However, as we were talking about, we've got the reception coming up soon, so that's kind of scary. The great thing that now... I know the reception will be a happy, fun thing, and all our friends and family get together, and it's like, woo, fun stuff. But you know what? It is such a bother getting ready for it. It is so much effort, and it is so tough, and it's so expensive. I'm looking forward to be able to, like, this week, we've been living off, like, the basics, you know? Like, we were like, should we get milk? Can we afford milk? Oh, I don't know if we should get milk. Like, let's get into that stage, you know? Because we're counting the pennies. I mean, like, once the reception, like, the actual day is over, we'll be fine. It's all sorted. I made a point that we've got allocations so we can have fun, me, you, and Lexi, and enjoy ourselves. However, man, up until then, it's going to be tough. But we're managing. It's fine. I'm just looking forward to having actually getting there and enjoying it. You know, not the whole getting ready and paying for bands and paying for stuff and doing that and organizing this. Turns out the other day we realized our room wasn't booked for the hotel.
Oh.
Kind of important. A wee bit important. Considering, you know, the bride and groom should probably have somewhere to sleep that night.
Well, I mean, depending on what all you guys plan on doing during it, yes.
That's true. Depends how much we drink, I suppose. But we thought it was included in the package sort of thing. We thought, like, oh, here's a room as well for the celebrations package. I thought that would make sense, and I could swear it was in there. But what we read is just that it said the prices for the rooms are cheaper. So that's fine. We'll book it come payday. It's all fine. No problem. We called up. They got loads of spaces left, so it's all good. So it's fine.
Okay, I was gonna say, I think I need to make sure I book mine as well, because I'd hate to get there and have to sleep in a hedge.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, our good friend Graham lives literally less than 1 minute away from the place we booked. Like, literally, you can walk there in less than 30 seconds. Nice. So worst comes to worst, we've all got a place we can crash on the floor. However, I don't think everybody wants to crash on the floor. It
would be much nicer to not have to stumble a minute away and instead just stumble up the stairs or down the hall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. That seems like it would make a lot more sense. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point, actually. You're going to see the town that I broadcasted from for years. I broadcasted from that town for 4 years. You're going to be able to walk around my uni and stuff if you wanted to. So that's cool. I'm really looking forward to a lot of aspects. Dude, I can't wait till you're in the country. It's going to be so much fun. You're also the sole reason I haven't sold my camera yet. I've been thinking about selling it and just, like, you know, making use of the money for... it's just, I've got so many hobbies, and it's the one
How about you just sell your artwork and make up for it?
Right. That would make me have to use my camera. I don't do that.
Yes, which you've done very, very well in the past. We've seen your artwork, Ken, and your photos are wonderful. You just need to, like, put it out there as something else people could buy and get prints of. Then you wouldn't have to sell your camera. It'd pay for itself.
It's fine. It's fine. Doesn't matter. So who cares? We'll just see. We'll see. I'll wait till you've been and gone from the country, and then we'll sell the camera. And that'll be nice. But I want to enjoy it with you. I want to go do cool, fun photo stuff with you. So
I appreciate that, because I am looking forward to bringing my camera and seeing all the lovely sights in Scotland. So thank you for that, Ken.
Gym's been going fine. I'm still keeping going with 4 or 5 times a week. I've been having all the proteins. I've been doing a lot of reading on it as well, trying to keep myself and my diet all proper. Because there's no point in putting in, like, I don't know, like 70 hours of exercise a week to only then not eat right, it then just ruins it. I mean, what's the point in doing all the exercise if you're not going to gain anything from it? I mean, literally, it takes like the usefulness of it from 100% to 2% if you just don't eat right. So, looking at how to eat properly, have like the proper types of carbs, less carbs, more protein, more veg. When to have protein shakes, etc., etc. I've been reading a lot about it. There's a lot of weird fallacies that have been floating around that I've heard a lot of. I mean, this whole pre- and post-workout shake thing that all these companies try to put on you, it's not true at all. It's all a bunch of bollocks. You just need to meet your...
Well, it depends. Some of them, it depends what they're advertising, because I know of several that do a very good job with what they're trying to push.
Well, that's the thing, right? If you're doing the right thing, like giving yourself the necessary carbs before your workout, then yeah, that's what it's for. But a lot of them are like, you need these like amino acids and these proteins, and you know what? Yeah, your diet should be doing that anyway, though. Proteins are just supplements. There's a big difference between the protein shakes and an actual proper meal. So as long as you eat right, in theory, you don't need any supplements. It's only you don't eat right.
No, agreed. If you're eating right and foods that provide all the necessary levels of the nutrients you need for what you're doing, then absolutely, you don't need supplements of any kind. The challenge is in most of, especially here in America, in most people's food sources, it's very difficult to get like good proteins. It's very difficult to get all the kind of necessary vitamins that you need for when you're doing that kind of activity. It takes a lot of very specific effort, and so that's why a lot of these companies have succeeded so well. Because in America, at least, our food sources are very questionable, and so. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's I have whole rants and raves just about that piece of it. But so. If you are eating healthy, that's the best way to get all of your nutrients. Absolutely agree.
Definitely. So I've been reading a lot about that, going to different threads. 4chan actually it has this fitness board. I don't go on it itself, but it links to a how-to general knowledge thread, like a good overall thing. Here it is in the IRC. It is liamrosen.com. That's Liam, ROSEN.com/fitness.html. Great little guide for overall fitness stuff. About how to have a good mindset, general Q&A, exercise, diet, measuring progress, and some Q&A at the end as well. It's for male and female, and it's how to get abs, it's how to do general cardio, it's how to do muscle, and it's just all just basic knowledge, and it has links to so many different... studies and sources externally. So it's like, here is the scientific facts spoken like a normal person. So here's how you can understand it as a normal human being who doesn't have a degree in sports studies. So there's a lot of good stuff there. The other one I found is a beautiful little thing. informationisbeautiful.net/play/snake oil supplements with dashes in between. That's the link in the IRC there as well. This shows you all the different things that with links to studies that is good for you and what's not good for you, with the reason why they're good for you and why they're not, and what they're good at helping, what they're good at against, etc. So, for example, what's good for helping against cancer, what's good for helping you with cardio stuff, what's good for children, what's good against diabetes, general health, for men, for pain, for urinary infections, for women, so on and so forth. At the top, it says things like garlic and vitamin B3 and probiotics and zinc are really well proven to help you with whatever each of them are good for, including heart disease. This thing's lagging, so a bunch of different things. It shows you all the different things it's good for. And at the very bottom, it shows you where there's no good
science behind it. That nothing's really been proven.
So copper, lavender, vitamin D is in there actually for a lot of stuff. It depends what the people claim they're using it for, though. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because if you notice in the way they've done this, there's multiple links to some of the same vitamins, and what they're doing is it's based on specifically what they're saying that is supposed to help with. Because when they go up there, like you say, vitamin D, where they're talking about on the low end, they're saying heart disease. It's got slight proof that it might be helpful, but if you go up towards the middle or top of it, where they have vitamin D and it says general health and things against mortality, it says promising.
Yeah. And like it says here,
I saw another one higher, calcium
and cancer prevention. But no, not at all. Yeah,
that's
it's really interesting
list. Yeah, that is an interesting list.
So go have a look at that if you're interested.
What I like about that one is it's not telling you that things aren't good. It's saying specifically versus claims of what things can be used for and whether science has proven those claims for each thing. And that's pretty cool.
It's saying, here's some science, bro. This is how we get stuff done. Reminds me of that one comic. I don't know if you've seen it. I can't remember the source of the artist, but It's a girl walks into this office and says, it's the Google one actually. It's the one where people are Googling it, but Google's a human and so has human reactions. And
yes.
stuff. And the girl's like, do vaccinations cause autism? And then the Google guy says there are 9,500 articles saying that they do not cause autism, and one saying they do. And then she pulls the one and says, "I knew it," and walks off. Anyway, so yeah, fitness stuff's been going well. There's some interesting links. Check those out. It's in the show notes if you're interested. Then in the month, next week actually, I'm going to be in Geneva, so I'm not going to be on the show, sir. We're going to be doing a solo show for the first time in a while. I'm getting you to pay back for last week.
I think I'll manage. So you said, when is that happening? I'm going to check my calendar, make sure I'm here.
So next week, the coming week.
Next week, you say. Okay, solo show for Wayne. Got it.
Cool. I will be in lovely Geneva, coming back just in time for work. We are planning on going through to see her parents and her sisters, and it's going to be great because her dad's coming in from New York for that weekend. Her sisters will be home from school, and her mum will be off work, so it's ideal. We'll all be able to hang out and do stuff. So
very nice.
I'll get to see Geneva for the first time ever, and all the extremely insanely expensive shops and restaurants. Apparently, I will not be able to eat anywhere there other than at their parents' house.
Really?
So, and maybe crepe stands on the street, and that's it. So. That'll be fun.
I'll be very curious to hear back. Yeah.
I mean, Geneva is such a high up city. It's the kind of place where, CERN's based there. They're pretty big. And the UN, that's the kind of people that are there. So, the kind of people who make the kind of money that can afford to go to these restaurants. So I will not be one of those.
Hey, regular people have to eat as well.
Yeah. That's probably what the coal mines are for there. And the fishing and stuff, I don't know. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun to explore a new place, and I've not been on holiday since January now, so it'll be nice to go elsewhere and actually have some time off work. I've not had time off for 3 to 4 months now, so those 2 days are going to be a welcome rest.
Nice. Yeah. Well, make sure you enjoy it.
Last bit of my little section here is I'd like to give a shout out to Hando and to the Mighty Stoner. The Mighty Stoner, who is our IRC rep on occasion when he makes it Stoner, for actually being patrons of Show X. If you go along to patreon.com/Show X, you will find our little giving niceness page. Currently we've got 2 patrons who give us a few pennies each month. They help us keep the show alive. They sustain us. They keep us up and on the air. They help support us with software. They help us keep our SAM broadcaster. We help host our website, licenses, and purchase our website name each year, etc., etc. A lot of important stuff that we at the moment, mainly Wayne is actually taking it out of his own pocket. So if you can put a few pennies, $1-2 a month, it would really help us out for the thing that you enjoy about 8 hours of our time a month for, So we'd appreciate any little bit of support. And plus, hey, if every single person listened to put in $1, you would do more than cover the little tiny costs of the show. Only $1, man. That's 66 pence or so a freaking month. That's nothing. Every little helps, so it's up to you guys. Plus, there's shared packages, so you can eventually get yourself a cup or some t-shirts and stuff like that if you want to. We will see. Also, damn it, Stoner, you let us, with the package you've bought, each month, you get us to say anything you want on air for you. Tell us, man. Tell us so we can say something ridiculous on air. It'll be funny. Make us sing. Make Wayne sing. It'll be so funny. Not me. Make Wayne sing like ooh 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 ooh
See, he doesn't need to. You're doing it for us.
And blue dabba diva da da or something funny.
Gosh, that'd be horrible.
That'd be amazing. Please do that. Okay, and apparently that's monthly as well. You get to do that, Storm. Monthly. So that's my week not in geek. So
all right.
How have you been, Mr. Wayne? How have you been? What's been going on?
I've been good. I've been cold because Colorado decided to take a winter spin ever since the massive storm that occurred out in the Pacific decided to spin around and force the jet stream to come down quick. And in doing so, last Monday, we saw a 40-degree Fahrenheit change in temperature in the middle of the day, where it went from about 3 in the afternoon, where I was hopefully going to have some people come look at my roof and check for any hail damage from some of the storms we'd had in the past, to winter storm here in Colorado. And so for the past week solid, temperatures have been below freezing. In the U.S., we've been hanging out around the mid-teens up to maybe 20s. So from a Celsius perspective, under zero the entire time, down to the negative. I think we hit negative 16 C at some point, or actually we're there for a while. I'm trying to remember how low we actually got, because I was waking up to some temperatures where we were in the negatives here even. So very cold. Not to complain about it. It's just winter came a bit sudden for a lot of us here, and it is still today. I mean, we're looking out, it's a beautiful sunny day, and all of 23 degrees right now. So it's still negative Celsius. Anyhow, in running around not doing geeky things, I hung out with some of my dance friends this weekend, the ones I was doing some West Coast swing with, and as well as just, I think even the day it went, on Monday when it did turn frigid, we skipped training because the roads were icy and terrible. I didn't want to risk it. And we watched some old movies. So I watched an old movie Monday, and I watched some movies last night as well. The movies I saw back in Monday, we watched the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from back in the 90s, the first live-action one they did. And I see you shaking your head there, Ken, but I will tell you, that movie's good. TMNT, the original live-action, holds up. And it made me wonder yet again why the heck they even bothered trying to make this new one that they came out with. Because the first one was good.
Do tell me, what does what do the turtles look like? Do you think do they look like humans with, like, bits of cardboard on them, or do they look like turtles?
They look a lot like turtles. They basically look like humanized turtles, where they still have a turtle-looking face. They have turtle shells on the back, a turtle lower body, the underbody on their stomach. They're turtles. That's the beautiful part of the original live action they did, not this CGI-fied mutant kind of creepy monster-looking turtles that they made in the new one. Now, granted, I will tell you I haven't seen the new movie, so I don't know if it is really that entertaining. I've just heard from a lot of people, but standing alone on just by itself, the original TMNT was really good. And so, just throwing it out there, if you haven't seen it for a while, you should go check it out. Nostalgia was kind of kicking high, but we were still laughing at all the jokes that they were talking and a little silliness, but it was all in good fun. My only criticism of the movie was that the martial arts they were depicting was not ninjutsu. That was it. It was karate, and it was kind of a kung fu-esque blend. And so, but beyond that, it was great. So, throwing that out
Just
there.
because they're called ninjas doesn't mean they're actually ninjas. I don't think that lore was ever.
They say it a lot.
Defined as such.
They say it a lot in the movie. They're talking about, I love being a turtle, but they also say, like, doing all the ninja stuff where it's like, ninja kick, ninja stuff where you're like, no. But like I said, that was my only criticism, and that's only because I studied the art, and so I know the difference. But for anyone else, it's a fun martial arts flick, and just it really held up well, the humor and everything, even the effects, because doing it all in live action costume meant that you didn't see anything digital that you had to go like, well, that was kind of bad CG, back in the day. Versus it's all true. Looks real, and real explosions and real, fighting and such. So that was great.
But you can't look down on that kind of CG because that's where it all came from, man.
Well, but I'm saying because it didn't use CG, it still holds up. So time, you don't really see the difference. No, I still appreciate old CG movies, but you can usually tell the early ones versus when they finally started to be able to blend form background well and be able to blend live action in with the CG backgrounds, things like that. You can see the difference in the upgrades in that versus when people use models and such. Other movie I saw was last night. We saw Cool Runnings. In celebration of the temperature drop here in Colorado, we watched the movie about the Jamaican bobsled team. And another movie that surprisingly holds up over time.
There's a movie about the Jamaican bobsledding team?
Have you never seen?
No idea.
You have never seen Cool Runnings, Ken? Oh my goodness. It is such a great movie. The whole concept of... Well, it was talking about somewhat... I mean, it's movie-fied. It's got the Hollywood spin on it, so it's not like a documentary of when it happened. But it does talk about the events that kind of led up to the Jamaican bobsled team being created. And it's a real... They do compete in the Winter Olympics. But in talking about it, it's more just for the entertainment value of it. It's a fun movie. It's one of these old ones that had John Candy in it before he passed away, way back in the day. and going through kind of the motivations behind this team going out there and how they weren't accepted being a bobsled team coming to the Winter Olympics initially because everyone was like, is this a joke? But it's a comedy. It's fun. Check it out if you haven't, Ken. It's surprisingly good. I also
honestly had no idea.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun movie. Saw a newer movie that I just hadn't caught in theaters. Also saw The Internship, which is the movie that has Vince Vaughn and one of the Wilsons. Yes, the one where they go intern at Google. And I was surprised. I was entertained by the movie because, admittedly, I think Vince Vaughn is highly overrated when it comes to comedy. I think he plays the exact same character in every movie he's ever done. much like how I'm not a big fan of most of what's his name, the one that cameos in Will Ferrell's movies, because I think he does the exact same character in every flipping movie.
Of course he does.
And so it's annoying as hell. So it's one of those that I like when people like that actually act and do something outside of that norm. But in The Internship, while Vince Vaughn is still an over-the-top arse through most of the movie, and I really don't care about his character, I thought they did a brilliant job of kind of highlighting it as a big ad for Google, the entire movie. Because
not that Google needs an ad.
Well, but it was entertaining because it talked about some of these things you hear about Google, highlights some of these Google products as well as things like, even the self-driving car gets a cameo in the movie. But
that's cool.
But they talk through it where it's funny that there's no controversy in the entire movie that you could lead towards Google itself. Like none of the plot is about Google the company so much as it uses Google as a backdrop. It's about the interaction of people within the realm. And so Google gets off scot-free. Like there's no negativity that could even be put towards Google through this movie. It's all a positive skid. I have no idea. I would be surprised if they didn't. See, that's the weird part, right? In the old movies how it was always, companies paid for like little spots. And in TMNT you see it specifically where they pick up the Papa John's pizza or whatever. It was Domino's. They're eating Domino's throughout the movie. So every opportunity they had to open a pizza box and see Domino's on it and drink Coke or whatever they had that were sponsoring the movie made sense. When your entire backdrop is a company like Google, I'm curious if it was more Google spent a lot of money on making the movie or being a part of it, or if the people making the movie itself saw that was such a relevant opportunity today that they just propositioned and Google just gave them access to the campus and everything. Don't know, because it's filmed at the Google campus. You get to see all these things. It's really neat. But entertaining movie. I had a lot of fun with it, so just kind of throwing those ones out there. Really, that's all I want to talk about when it comes to non-geek this week, because I think we need to talk about some things geek. So I'm going to switch things over. Go ahead and jump in with...
I'm a geek. Are you a geek? Geek Cred, level up!
And to start it off, we have an email, which is coming to us saying, Geek Cred Wall O Text. And it says, hello, once again, great sirs, 'tis I, AgriSSW, here to share my Geek Cred. First off, I picked up the new expansion of World of Warcraft, and I must say, Blizzard has done it once again. The story is really solid, and the leveling is so far a very enjoyable journey. And with the addition of the garrison, it gives you that extra feeling that your character is important. I am having a great time and will compare this experience to that of BC or Wrath launch levels of epicness. Now on to something a bit more pony. Pause for Ken's reaction as you stare there kind of blindly. This past Friday, my loving girlfriend and I attended the Grand Galloping Gala hosted by Equestria LA. And we had such a great time. Every pony there looked really sharp, and some were themed as well. Some of the ponies I saw were Fluttershy, Rarity, Chrysalis, Princess Luna, a Wonderbolt, and a really well done Pinkie Pie. Some of the highlights were the conversations we had with our fellow bronies. I even mentioned to them that I came into the herd and that they should all listen to Show X on VTWProductions.com. Yay! Good job, AgriSSW. Thank you. See, that's what we're talking about, people. We want you to reach out to those other geeks around you and let them know about us. We appreciate it. Some of the... Ken, stop. We welcome everyone to come listen to Show X. Thank you.
You do.
The one gentleman who was dressed as a Wonderbolt noticed that my girlfriend and I were dressed as Shining Armor and Princess Cadence, and gave us a little necklace he had made for the event to hand out to those people who were themed, which I thought was so cool. The dance floor was jumping all night with all the ponies showing off their moves, and some even got into a dance-off battle that was so epic even the DJ got involved. as I watched one guy who had a ponytail on just take off a through crossed my mind. A thought. There we go. Forgot a T there, Agris. Thought crossed my mind was, I wonder if Wayne has moves like that, and if so, if it would have been so awesome to see him here. One of the best parts was that when all of us began to chant, friendship, friendship, friendship. Finally, I would like to thank Ambrosia Hartnett for going with me and making this such a wonderful night. We both had a great time, and shout out to Equestria LA and all the bronies. He made it such a truly epic brohoof. Thank you for reading this wall of text on the air, good sirs. P.S. Below is a link to my girlfriend and I Ponified, a picture that's from our forums, for those who haven't seen. And this comes to us from Agris SW, level 96 Human Paladin from the guild Civil Warcraft on Shatterhand US, as well as Thaddeus, level 21 Worgen Warrior Guild, Silverwind Crusade on Moonguard US, the Paladin of Ambrosia Hartnett. Thank you very much for that, Agris SW. We love seeing you talk to us about what's been going on in your life, especially Geeky. And I'm going to try this real quick and break things, but showing it on the video wall as well. I'm going to click it on. Let's see. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? No. Yarr! I tried. I failed. See? I need to know better. Oh, well. I was going to show it, but the piece that I added to do it doesn't want to play nice. Oh, well. So, but no, I did check out your picture. You two look quite nice. So good job. I'm glad you had a wonderful time at the gala. I will post that link in the show notes so people who are listening can go check it out afterwards. All right, so Ken, what have you been doing this week in Geek?
Nothing pony related whatsoever, which I'm glad for. Hate is magic. I love you guys, really. Okay, Pathfinder. Speaking of geekiness, I think I'm going to be able to win the world. I have organized a Pathfinder night for this coming Thursday.
Okay.
I am going to have a couple guys that I know from work around, and we're going to play some Pathfinder. Got 4 of us. We're going to come hang out. We've never played it before. I'll be DMing. We're all new. So we'll be trying one of the basic adventures that come with it. But I've already been started writing a story. I've made my own little world. I've made some characters, made a background, made some deities, made a bunch of stuff, to be honest. Let me go pull it up, and I'll do a quick description of the place for you guys, see if you think it's a cool story or not. So I've been working quite hard in my spare time on this. I've been trying to learn how to do like character sheets as well, and oh my god, are those tough. It's actually like just learning how, like, math is useful for one thing anyway. Okay. The once great city of Amarad is the ex-capital of the Holy Lands, based in the westerly part of the expansive continent Alien. The autocratic Amarad has become renowned for being a city whose citizens manage themselves, not to say there isn't a leader. Grand Marshal Arun sits on the black throne of Amarand, and the law is clear and simple: do not get in his way. So it's going to start off with the players all working in a tavern, and they meet each other there in the same drinking game sort of thing, and they're all getting they're talking to some of the locals, and the locals bring up, hey, there's a job nearby. I hear the watch, not the guard, there's no guard, but I hear the like neighborhood watch kind of thing are looking for some people to come clear the tunnels nearby. Apparently they're full of like thieves and assassins and stuff, and just a bunch of shady characters, and they've been disrupting our trade routes and stuff. So hopefully the group will actually decide to go there. If not, I'm kind of screwed, so I kind of need to think of some alternatives in case they're like, no, let's get drunk and have sex with hookers. That's always a possibility. So assuming they go there, they'll go in and they'll see a rather empty little maze of tunnels. I have actually drawn out the tunnels, and they're getting into some high detail of what's there. And basically, if they do a certain search in a certain corridor, they'll find something. They're going to be accompanied by 2 guards, and the 2 guards will basically say to them, one of them is going to be clearly after promotion and trying to like succeed at every job he does. So he's trying to do this really well, and he's willing to do anything for it. And the second guy is kind of a coward. He's like, oh, well, we didn't see anything. Let's get out of here, guys. It's fine. We'll just say we didn't see anything. And eventually they find this like sigil of a hand. And we'll make it so one of the guards that recognizes the hand, the 4-fingered hand, as being the nearby gangs.
Trying to figure out which 4 fingers to use as the hand.
Yeah.
So in that way, I suggest that one. That one's popular. That one's popular. That way, you know, you can really use that in your adventure and give it to people.
And the idea is they'll find an altar. Can you hear me okay, by the way? Am I laggy?
No, I hear you just fine.
Okay, because you're very laggy. It's probably just me, I wouldn't worry. So what the idea is, they'll find this altar and they don't know what's about, but they'll see the sigil on it, and one of the guards will recognize it and go, "That's the sigil of this gang. Oh my god, these are cultists. We need to get out of here." Sort of thing. That's what the pussy guard will say. Then, if depending on how the characters take the situation, either one of them is going to cut off one of the guards' hands and put his hand on the altar, or the captain, the guy who's trying to do well in the force, is going to cut off his colleague's hand if they don't do it and put it forward. Do you hear me okay?
Yes. I hear you
I can
just
hear
fine,
your call
Ken.
now. We got to restart this call.
Ah, Ken's internet's broke. Look at him.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you at all there. I just heard like strange technical squeaks. And that's
I'd
it.
say, no, everything was sounding great
The
on
bear?
my end. Hello?
I can't hear you, dude. You're going to have to hold on for a second.
Ha! So, this time I don't believe it's me, because everything seems to be going through just fine. I'm going to double check, though. Make sure under my audio settings, it shows me talking just fine out to Ken. So, I don't know what's going on with his computer. That's okay. We'll just let him stay there broken. And instead, I think I will have to go in and just finish talking about things geek for me. Apparently, it didn't matter what was going on with his little realm and world he's trying to build for this game of his or something. I guess that doesn't really matter. Oh, look!
Okay, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, Ken. It shows on my Skype that I'm broadcasting.
I can't hear you at all, sir.
Well, that makes no sense. Oh well. We've broken things, apparently. So, I will continue on and talk about my geek. Ken, what happened? It was going so good. Well, let's see. What have I been up to? Because apparently Pathfinder broke the show. Well, I really wanted to talk about Gamefest, and I wanted kind of have Ken in here with it. Let's see. Yes, Ken, I can hear you just fine. Let's see. No, he listens through a different thing. Otherwise, I was going to say, work out. All right, everybody,
Okay.
right? Bon
I still
Jovi!
can't hear you at all. So what I would suggest is that I talk about what I was talking about, and then when I'm done, I'll give you a thumbs up, and you can continue, but I will be able to hear you.
Exactly. Let's see. And talk. He's watching my
Okay.
typing, and so therefore he's gonna.
My internet connection's fine from the looks of it. It's just this Skype call. I don't know why.
That is so bizarre.
But you can hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about I continue talking with this story, and then I give you the thumbs up when I'm done, and then you continue, but I can't hear you.
Wow, this show is epic.
Yeah. Okay. So I got to the point where they're going to be in these tunnels, and hopefully they'll find the sigil on this altar, right? And the idea is that either one of the actual characters, the player characters, is going to realize that they need to chop off somebody's hand and put it there. But if they don't do it, then I'm going to get the main guard to cut off the pussy guard's hand and put it there, and cut off one of his fingers, and let him bleed out, and that'll be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I haven't told any of them the story yet. I was going to say something along the lines of the entrance is going to be given by a gift to this cult, and I haven't decided what's going to happen in there yet, but I've got a couple of weeks before the actual main story kicks off, so I wouldn't be too concerned. I'm not too concerned about that. But I've made this one city, I've made it have a population, how many people are there, how many like humans, elves, half-elves, dwarfs, etc. are there, how many taverns, blacksmiths, healers, loads of things. I went into quite a bit of detail using a lot of tools online. And I've also got this random encounters on the road chart, which is pretty cool. So basically what you do is you roll D100, so 100 times dice, that's usually 5 20s. You add it all up and you get a random number. And when they're traveling place to place, I'll make them do this for say every 100 meters or so, every 1 kilometer or whatever. And it'll say, like say they get 27, it'll say clinically insane woman runs by. And what happens depends on what we decide happens on the time, you know. Or 39 is a random pickpocket. I don't know, 70 as men in black robes pass you by, there are D4 of them. Depending on what the D4 is, there'll be monks, there'll be cultists, there'll be famous nobles, or normal travelers. Or you can have tax collectors, a lost kid, rabid rabbits attack and chase the adventurers. Like, it could be anything, but I'm looking forward to trying it out because these things all sound really fun and cool to me. Like, all these different how this game works, but I think I feel like it's going to be like a video game for some reason because it sounds like it to me. So I think actually being a tabletop is going to throw me off, even though I obviously understand that, but I think part of my mind just sees how the game works and assumes it's going to be very similar. So I'm looking forward to trying it out, and I'll report back next week how the initial bit goes. But if you guys have any feedback or tips or anything, please do tell me because I'd like to learn more before making an ass of myself in front of everybody. I can hear you now.
Hey, what? Now you can?
I know. Yeah.
What did you change?
Nothing. I guess just needed to stabilize or something.
I didn't change anything either. Well, there you go. We automatically, kicked Bon Jovi out of the lines again.
That was not our fault. Damn Bon Jovi.
Oh, man.
Come in here with your overplayed tunes.
Well, no. Good luck with making that adventure and getting it out. And I'll be very curious because DMing for me, I believe, is a difficult task for anyone, and much, props to anyone who pulls it off. All right, so what have I been doing that is geek? Well, I want to report back on Gamefest since I didn't get to be on the show last week to talk about it like we normally would do. Instead, I ran away to go do some ninja things. But Gamefest itself was very successful. We had a heck of a party going on the Friday night. Got access to the massive Rock Band setup again, although this time, instead of it going through the PS3 since mine's dead, and the gentleman who is in care of the Rock Band setup doesn't have a PS3, he was able to rework everything to go through his Xbox 360. So all worked, everything's happy, very good. Had a lot of people over, we played a lot of Cards Against Humanity, we played some more Betrayal on the House on the Hill. Lots of fun. Played lots of video games over the time frame of it. I got to finish getting Lieutenant Fork's computer all built and got her gaming back on a PC now. Although I will say it's kind of half PC, half consoleized for her. Because of her roots being a console player, she could not play any of the games really with the mouse keyboard. She had to plug in an Xbox controller to be able to transition over and start playing, and she's still doing that even when she got it home because that's what she has. I'm just like, grrr, need to get you fully into the PC world with the mouse keyboard. Yes, you can use a console controller, but only for the games that are appropriate, not for first-person shooters. Darn it. Which is hard because we were playing a lot of Titanfall. I can't give her too much crap because she's still doing very well on it, at least as well as she used to do on the Xbox, because she's using her controller in a PC world, so she's doing very well. But one of the things that came off of that is we played during the so we had a tournament. In the tournament, we played a couple categories where we had casual gaming, arcade gaming, classic game, or puzzle gaming, FPS, those kind of main categories. Tried to reduce it, where last Game Fest our tournament took 10 hours to finish. This one we got down to 4. Kept it very concise with a break in there for food. We got rid of a lot of games because we realized 10 hours is too long to play just waiting kind of finish up a tournament. So for the PC and FPS, we started out with Modern Warfare 1, Call of Duty 4, which I really want that game to die. It is so unbalanced. But we got it, we played it, that worked out. We played for the arcade, we did an original game, Galaxian, which was the #1 arcade game back in 1979. It's kind of one of those ones like a 1942 or like Galaxy or any of the others where you're a ship at the bottom shooting against aliens that are above that come flying down shooting at you at occasion. Really old school where your ship moves slower than all the alien stuff, so really difficult. And everybody got 1 quarter to put up a top score. No practice, just go. And I did okay. I thought I did well because I just finished the first board of aliens. However, when I did it, I finished it by having the last one crash into my last ship. And so while I finished the level, I didn't get to start the next. So I got like 3,000 something points on it. Nothing. But most people didn't even do that well. I think I scored 3rd or 4th overall out of the 10-ish people that we had playing in the tournament. Where the top scorer, who did surprisingly well, I forget who did it, but might have been Unit 0, I think, got 8,000 points or something like that. I'd cleared 2 full boards, I want to say, which that game was it was surprisingly difficult. I'd need to practice it a lot before giving another run. We also played then fighting games. In the fighting games, we played Killer Instinct as well as Marvel vs. Capcom as a tournament, kind of single elimination tournament going through. That was good fun. Did well in that, but again, did not win. I didn't win any of them this time, darn it. But then we did puzzle games, and the puzzle game we did was original Tetris, and we played it on my original Game Boy. And so the one that I bought back in 1989 with my own monies, and I still have, still works, brought it down, and everybody had to put up a score on that one. That one, again, I did not win, because Brock Sampson, I think it was, came out of nowhere and scored 5,000 more points than me. Barely outed me, where I heard 80,000 for my score. I was like, yeah, I got this locked down. It's like the winner was 85,000. Oh, Brock, you bastard. But when the two of us kind of outshined everyone, where the next score below us was 30,000, I think, and then below that was kind of like 10. Because, Tetris. I've played that forever. And the final game we did was we played Wii Bowling as kind of the console version, and just very casual.
Is that like bowling pins at the end of like aisle, and then you all try and pee to see how many you each like knock down? Is that how that works?
So essentially, we did keep scores though of normal bowling, using the Wii to capture it. And so, yes, where you knock pins down, throwing a ball down the thing virtually, and it worked out fine. It was just you did a single 10 frames of bowling. That one again, I did well, but did not win. I think the person who won got like 190ish pins or something. I got like 155. And so score-wise was good. But an aggregation of all of those different ones, because we had trophies again for each category, but we have our overall trophy for every game you play, and you get points compared to everyone else, and who wins the overall gamer trophy for the event, which I did win. Woohoo! So
wow,
I retained it for a second time in a row, and very happy about that.
Well, you definitely got your geek status and your geek cred this week. Well done.
Yeah, so that one I continued on and was very happy with, even though I didn't win a single tournament. I just did generally good enough across the board to win the overall gamer. So that was good times. Other things I'd like to do. I need to throw a thank you out to Copy, because we don't do it nearly enough, but I'm pretty sure she was the one who ended up somehow getting me Broforce, because I don't think I ever bought that. But I did spend some time, and I streamed it a little while back, playing that game, and it is just sheer ridiculousness. And I only played it by myself. It has a multiplayer aspect. I don't know how many people can play together. I'm assuming like 4 or such, which I can only assume would be kind of madness. Because it's a little 2D side-scroll shooter that's over the top, where essentially you're unlocking prisoners, as though it's almost like an old Rambo going through jungles and stuff and saving heroes that have been captured and are thrown in cages. And for everyone you get, you level up. And as you level up, you unlock a new hero. And almost all of these heroes are based upon classic action movie heroes from the 80s and some 90s stuff. So you unlock the Rambo character, you unlock a ninja character, you unlock what was it? There's some bomber character and all these other. Regardless, it's funny. The world's somewhat destructible. Kill this thing. It's just like silly fun that you can jump around and do. So if you haven't seen that one, go watch some videos or something. Check out my stream on it and see if you like it. I thought it was a good time. Other things. So Titanfall was fun. One of the things I was going to say about that is I'm surprised I don't play more of it. It's a good game. It's another one of these games that just kind of, I think, got lost in the mix because it came out, it was potentially going to be great, and then people started playing other games. And especially as Call of Duty Advanced Warfare has just come out, where they're talking about the mobility and stuff in that, and people are trying to make a big deal of it. Titanfall already was doing that with all the parkour, wall running, and jumping and stuff, really fast, actiony, as well as throwing mech combat into it. So just as a vitalization going back into that game, really good. I suggest check it out, especially because it's $20 US now, brand new. And I've seen deals on it for less than like $15 out there. So if you have the opportunity, go pick it up. You might be able to find it for as little as $15, which is a AAA title, and yet it's selling for cheaper than most indie games these days.
Do you know why?
I do not. Specifically,
nobody's really playing it as much as when it launched. Like, it's become so unpopular for some reason. I don't actually know why.
Well, and that's the thing. It reminds me a lot, and we ran into this at Gamefest as well, of Tribes. Because I've talked in the past how much I love Tribes, the whole series of it, and how Tribes Ascend is probably the pinnacle of all Tribes games. It's so well done. Free to play, everyone can go check it out. We tried to play it at Gamefest and found out that Hi-Res Studios has essentially abandoned it because they're going totally towards Smite. And it's still
making money from that.
Well, it's still a solid, amazing. Well, their money aspect for how they're trying to do Tribes, I think, was broken from the get-go. They made it free to play without really having a good monetization plan. But the game is solid. It runs beautifully. It's gorgeous, and it's still got the same hard gameplay with physics in mind and shooting, where you're actually dueling in a match versus just twitch shooting, which is something that most first-person shooters miss. Almost all of them, especially like the Call of Duties and stuff, are very twitch, where I just see something, shoot it, and you die. In Tribes, you don't get those single shots. You know, there's only a few classes against a few that can do a single shot. A sniper versus another light can kill it one shot. But against a medium or a heavy, it's going to take more than one shot. And so there's a dual aspect throughout Tribes that you just don't get in other games. Little bit of it in Titanfall, because again, you don't kill right away, and there's enough motion that you kind of can chase somebody down and run in and out of buildings trying to kill that person. But the fights are still pretty quick, which leads me on also to the other game I've been playing, which is the new Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, hopefully, people out there, you've seen things. Well, okay, so Paz is saying that Titanfall isn't balanced. Hey, I don't play it as a competitive game. I play it because it's fun. I mean, and I've been killed by all the games out there that are really interesting, or all the different guns and stuff.
But
So
most competitive games are driven by the fact that they're competitive. You know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if Titanfall is trying to be competitive. It's not like they were going in and doing tournaments in Titanfall. Well, I was saying, when I think competitive, I think people that are honestly trying to go the esport route for competitive. It's
As they should be.
Who should be? Not no. Well, so there's the thing.
Every company that has any semi-competitive game, because that's where
that's
the money
the
is,
no.
dude.
But what I'm saying is, you can play a multiplayer game and not have it have to be competitive,
Oh, of course.
and still have a brilliant time with it. And that's what I'm saying. Titanfall is just
Oh,
fun.
no. I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm just speaking monetarily. Like, if they want to make money, and you have a competitive game, it's not just by letting people use your servers. You must, if you go into esports, let people stream, make them make money off it. More people start playing. More people start playing it. And
Well,
it gets
again,
big. Like,
that's if you want to be competitive. I would argue that not every game needs to be competitive.
I would argue that too, of course.
I mean, because that's what kills single-player experiences, by the way. Why StarCraft 2 is such a shite single-player game is because they only cared about the competitive. It's part of what actually killed Tribes, I would say, because now you can't find a Tribe server that plays the original Tribes map with all the features and abilities, because when they went to what they did tournament rules, they got rid of like the engineer class for almost completely. They got rid of turrets that were built into the base, all that stuff, so that they played this little kind of core streamed down gameplay of 7v7. But Tribes really is an amazing game when you play it 32 versus 32 with the full rule set available. Then it's an epic experience, but they got away from that because people are so worried about being competitive. It's like, screw competitive, make just fun games. And so that's where I had a big issue with it. But I would just say I had a ball playing Titanfall, and in a comparison today where Call of Duty Modern Warfare Advanced Warfare is out now, I would say I prefer Titanfall. It's more entertaining to me. Now, I've been playing both, and Advanced Warfare, and hopefully you guys have seen the post that Paws have put out there on the forums and stuff, his reviews of it, started out really rough. Its launch on the PC was bad. It was broken. You weren't able to get into games half the time, or if you were with friends in a group, often one person would get in and everyone else would time out. And
Good.
unbalanced weapons. It honestly looks like they built the game solely for the non-hardcore tournament, or the kind of mechanics. But it's weird because there's this odd balance that's still broken with how much damage different weapons do at different ranges and things. It just feels clunky. Now, I say this at the same time that the game has gotten better. They've been aggressively patching it, and so if you play it now today, it doesn't have the heartache that it originally launched with. It feels more like it's ready. I still am a little miffed at some of the balance in it, and it still has some odd ways it reacts. One of the biggest problems we ran into, and one of the moments that I almost put a fist through my monitor, kind of rage at a game, is, and Paz can attest to this too, he talked to, is mouse acceleration. There is some glitch in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, or at least there was at launch, and I think they adjusted some. And we heard a lot of stories as to why this was. This was a console game that they ported to the PC. Better than some, but it's still got some glitches from it. On the PC, or on the consoles, they locked everything to 60 frames per second. In doing so, much like a lot of old games where they tied things to the processor speed, because you never could go faster at a certain point, so it didn't matter. They just did it by clocks on the processor. Well, when they did it to the 60 frames per second, fine, except that a lot of us are running things beyond that. Can run it at different speeds on the PC. But that mouse acceleration was somehow tied to the FPS of the game. And one of the problems we have is with our gaming mice that we have. You know, I have a nice Cooler Master one that, and such, and like your new one, you usually in the software you have an option to change its polling speed, how fast the USB port reacts to the inputs that you're giving it, and mine will go up to like 1,000 times a second. It'll look for input from the mouse, so super precise. At launch, and like I said, they've mostly fixed this now, but at launch, I had to set my polling speed down to 120 hertz to get it to work in the game without doing this weird glitchy thing where you'd start to churn. And if you're churning fast, it would mostly work right, but if you slow down, we're doing really minute motions, it would suddenly whip you around 180 degrees and just like out of nowhere. And so you're trying to just barely track someone to shoot them, and then boom, you're looking the other direction. It was so aggravating. Like I said, I almost put a fist through the monitor. And so just pissed off. But like I said, it's been patched aggressively, and now the game, I'd say, is pretty darn playable. There's still some little errs to it. But they also brought up where they're trying to modify the genre slightly, where instead of just the twitch run and gun horizontal, they're trying to add some verticality and some movement to it. I think, my friends mostly play hardcore. They like that quick shoot, you're dead. I don't think that's the way this game was designed. I do think it was designed to play on the regular mode where it takes a few hits to kill someone. It makes more sense because that way if someone's at a distance, your bullets are flying a little far. One random bullet to the calf doesn't just kill somebody. It maybe takes a couple hits, and especially in the head, to really make a person die.
In real life, if you got shot in the calf, you'd be like...
it would injure you, it would slow you down, but you wouldn't be dead. You'd still be able to shoot, still react. You wouldn't have to respawn. Oh,
sure,
and
but a lot of people would just sort of stop there and then say man down. I think most soldiers would, to be honest. I think unless it's life and death scenario. So it's an interesting topic because it depends what COD is supposed to be based on, which map is which, But I suppose it's not supposed to be realistic at that point, is it? It's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun, but that's the problem, right? There's some challenges because nobody really wants to play a fully realistic shooter. Otherwise, it's going to be torture and maim simulator because I will shoot everything but your vital organs just to laugh and watch you suffer. But, that's something I've thought about a lot. That would be kind of a challenge. But there's things you could still do to help with it. So they fixed a lot of the problems. One of the things that's still annoying as hell is that in at least the hardcore mode, because you die so quick, there's the most random, and I still haven't seen an article discuss why it happens or what the idea behind it, but spawn timer behind it, where you'll die and then it gives you a break before you can come back into the action. A lot of games do that, but with this one, it's so arbitrary, it's infuriating. You'll die sometimes and you'll be respawned in 5 seconds. See the countdown, cool. You'll die other times and it'll be like a 15-second respawn time. And other times it'll be half a second. And we have yet to see the logic that says why that happens. So there's still a lot of things in the game that are just a little bit of like, are you effing kidding me? What are you doing? This is bad. So I'm still playing it. I still enjoyed it. I bought it. I thankfully got it for, 10% off or so on on Green Man Gaming. Big fans of Green Man Gaming. Pause through it in the IRC chat. Hopefully saw everyone that they're doing an Evolve pre-order in there where you can get it for 25 or 15% off, something like that. So you might want to check that out. Get it for 45 instead of 60 at launch, but it is a pre-order. So we love Green Man Gaming because they allow a lot of deals. So got it a little bit cheaper. Makes me feel better about it, but it's still like grr. Played the single player some. Mostly enjoy. I am playing it on the hardest mode just so I can artificially make it so I die a lot so I can make the gameplay take longer. So I haven't finished it yet. It's what I do with these games, but so far I'm enjoying it. Other things, so that's kind of my quick shout to Advanced Warfare because I haven't played it. You can find us online. We do have our VTW clan. So if you have started playing the game, and this is for all of you out there, any of these games you're playing in, feel free to create a VTW clan within those games and let us know about it. We would like to get the whole community playing together. Mm-hmm. Now I say this, and I'm going to have to take it aside a little bit as I talk about the last game I've been putting some time into this week. And thank you, AgriSSW, for telling us about your experiences after picking up the Warlords of Draenor expansion for World of Warcraft. Ken, have you been playing any WoW lately? I know you have been on and off with your love and relationship of WoW.
I have not played it for at least a month now. At least that's for me anyway. How about yourself, sir?
I, on the other hand, have been. So I picked up...
Can I just quickly recall back to all those thousands of episodes of Show X, or hundreds at least, where I have said, "Oh, you'll be back. You'll go back." And you're like, no, that's me done forever. I doubt I'll ever go back. And I was like, oh, doubt that, man. So can I just say, just quickly, and I'll only say it once, but told you so.
Feel free.
Just that once.
Now let me give you the story behind for everyone out there because I can see a lot of people giving me crap for this. Go figure. My reasoning behind, and part of this was a weak moment where I stayed up Thursday night after work because I was like, oh, we're not training again because my instructor was out of town to train with his instructor. And so I had time to myself Thursday night. It was actually productive. Finished up culling the initial run through of all the wedding photos I've been working on. So I've taken it down from 3,500 down to about 6,500 down to about 3,200 photos. And I'll probably go through a little more of that as I now start editing. But after doing that, I stayed up and I did kind of this weird childish thing I do on occasion where I was like, I don't want to go to bed. I'm going to stay up because I can. And I don't have to wake up tomorrow.
And I can be tired tomorrow.
I can do what I want. And so I was staying up. I finished watching all of Season 2 of Arrow, which I love that series. It's just gotten good, and they've introduced so many characters where they, even in one episode, spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched Arrow and wants to, even though they haven't really talked about it, they did one episode where they're kind of talking about the group of bad guys that are getting together to fight Arrow and that are in the DC world, so the villains. And in one of them, as they're hanging out, they're in a jail where they had all these kind of criminally insane people that they're using somewhat for hard missions as kind of heroes. But without showing you the character, they had someone in that one of the cells who made a comment based on what they were talking about around her. And essentially, it was a gal saying, that was kind of nutty, saying that, hey, if you need any help, I'm a professional psychologist. I can help you, da-da-da kind of thing. I'll happily talk about it. And all I can imagine is it had to have been Harley Quinn. Had to have been Harley Quinn. DC Universe, psychologist in a mental institute like that, has to be. I thought that was a pretty epic reveal, so spoiler alert for that one, but she's not in the show, but so I finished watching all of Arrow, Season 2, what's available on Netflix. I know that Season 3 is going. Really enjoyed that, but also then I finished that up. I was like, all right, I still don't want to go to bed. So I was kind of thinking, well, it'd be nice to kind of pass out, but I don't want to go to bed. So I went to my couch. And I love going to the couch, turning on the big screen, putting on Netflix, getting the big puffy blanket I have. Thank you, Paws. I'm happy I stole it and kept it from you. The big lion blanket we have, and just was going to pass out. Well, I was doing that, and then I turned on. I was like, well, you know what I want to watch? Let me look at that documentary that Blizzard put out that I've been hearing about called Looking for Group. So I kicked that on. And so you can check it out. It's on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing, Looking for Group. And it's them just talking about creating WoW. Now, it's kind of a puff piece in the sense that it's not really a true documentary covering it. It's something Blizzard, I think, put out for themselves. It's more an advert for it. They didn't get into a lot of meat that I would have hoped to have heard about the creation of the game, but they did talk about a lot of the people that make the game and a lot about the fans who enjoy it. And it's just this big, woo, this is so much fun. Part of it, though, is I got a lot of the stories out of this documentary about why people love WoW. Because they talked about from Warcraft and other things like that up to WoW and getting into the game.
So what you're saying is you watched a documentary that was clearly an advertisement for WoW and then went and played WoW.
In the short of it, yes, but with it, what it did is it made me reassess. I stopped and thinking, okay, I played WoW for a solid year, and I enjoyed the playing of it. But then that lost interest for me, and I stopped, and mostly that was when I had to wait for BC to come out. Came back during Wrath for a little bit just to check it out. Came back for the Mists of Pandaria launch because they gave me a 7-day, and I checked out. I wanted to see goblins, and I got so bored of that I never made it out of the starting zone. It was just like, walked away from it again. So I wanted to go back after hearing, because one of the themes that seemed like everybody kept talking about, what really made World of Warcraft such an impressive experience for them, was the community they were involved in while playing the game. It was the friends they made, the online experience of talking to people and kind of going through, because the world is lovingly crafted and there's a lot of lore, a lot of experience to be had in it. They talked about the sheer scope of the game and how big they made it initially on launch and how they kept trying to make it bigger and bigger before they could feel like it was enough to really launch this game. Which I got a feeling of because Azeroth is huge, right? There's a lot of world to go explore. Talked about Cataclysm and how the choices to make it and break the world was and all those things, how Chris Metzen was pitching all the new ideas he was coming up with and how people were like, what? You're going to do that? So it's an interesting watch. So in doing that, what I decided as I was looking back there was I was kind of trying to reassess why is it I don't like WoW? What is I don't? Is it the mechanics, really the game mechanics? Because I enjoyed it for a year I played it. Yeah, they didn't change. And it's kind of that just you point, tab, target, whatever it is, hit abilities, meh. Is that what I didn't like? I was like, nah, I didn't dislike that so much that it's broken and it's just horrible. I mean, I believe there's more entertaining, engaging gameplay mechanics out there. Okay, so maybe it's not it. Did I hate it because of the questing? No, I like the questing. I like going. I mean, I dislike just to go run and, pick up 10 of these and drop them off here. That is kind of the basis behind so much of it. that's a little annoying.
98%, yep.
Yeah, and so, I mean, some of that's part of it, but there's a good storyline behind it, right? And I started remembering that when I first started playing the game as my undead rogue, I loved the storyline. I remember going through the whole Plaguelands, what the undead was trying to do to bring forth, essentially killing the entire world. Loved that storyline. But then it was lost, and they kind of went away from it after the mid-20s, and they didn't revisit it until Wrath. And so that was a long time that the undead main storyline disappeared.
Oh, the undead thing was definitely my favorite by far,
Well,
man.
it's just-
I love the undead.
Yeah, they had such a good thing. So they had good story behind the game. Then I started realizing part of what I didn't like was, honestly, the people I played with. Because I tried to do a little bit of the guild things, and I had a couple guilds I was in. I was with some friends and family at different points. But they were all doing their own ways of playing the game. And so the few times I would group up with a bunch of them, it wasn't how I wanted to play the game. They were too much in the, I want to just complete this stuff and then raffle stomp it and keep going back and forth and farm it. I wanted to quest and explore and learn about why I'm in this world, and because I always enjoyed the exploration and finding a new zone and seeing the way the textures changed and the landscape and the monsters that you'd run into in a new area, because it was all unique. I was like, this is what's cool to me. But when you were in most of the groups I was a part of, it was like I was constantly being forced to go play it faster than I wanted to. I stopped reading quests. I stopped doing any of that and just started looking at the numbers and where I had to go. Just to advance so I could get to max level so I can now do something else like raiding that I didn't care about. And so a lot of that's what drove me away from the game, where I just realized I wasn't enjoying what I was doing day to day. Because people kept trying to get me to play it in different ways. You know, I hated that I had to spec a certain way in order to be playing the game correctly. And stuff like that. I was like, this just pisses me off. And some of that was, admittedly, while I was still doing WoW Radio, when we were still doing Octil and Hordak, that just amongst the people I was around gaming in it, I didn't like that experience. So, after watching the documentary, seeing how people love it, and we still have friends and fans out there that have enjoyed WoW for years and are still playing it. Yeah, people have never stopped. My brother-in-law has never stopped playing the game. He has max 90s at the time before launch of Warlords across Alliance and Horde on multiple servers, where it's just like, holy cow, you've been playing this game forever. And they still really love it. So I decided, stepped back and said, could I possibly look at World of Warcraft again from a fresh perspective and really give it a new assessment? Like, now I've been away from it so long, let me go back to it and try to kill all my preconceived notions and decide, is this a good game still? Could I enjoy this game? And so, with that, it's funny because I started on Thursday night, Friday morning, right after launch, and got in and started playing the game around 2 in the afternoon. But the servers were just killed. It was so hard to get into some of the servers. Like, I would log in. I have tunes on both Ice Crown and Sen'jin still. And so I jumped in, and I wanted to start fresh from a brand new storyline. I didn't want to jump right into late content because I haven't played for so long, and I don't know if I'd still feel as attached to these characters I've built. And so I wanted to go start from a fresh one. So I tried to make a panda. I was like, screw it, I'll try the panda line. I never checked that out. Let me see. So I just wanted to see it. I could not create a tune. I got to the point where I got the character creation, went to hit start, and it just wouldn't connect. And so the game was like broken. Like, logged out, back in, kept going, tried to grab. I finally got in, I think, for a moment with one of my characters with Raggett, my gnome, that I have like a little gnome mage that I made one time up to level 12. And so I kind of got in for a second, and I was like, jab back at it. So it just was terrible. Played some other games because they're doing server maintenance, came back, and then it hit the massive, and I think everybody in the world heard about it, hopefully, at launch, the massive denial of service attack that was pushed against all of the Blizzard servers during this launch. Because I came back in around 6 p.m. or so to check it out, and every single server except for one, and I forget which one, on the Brazil servers or something like that, said, for population cap, said locked. Every single server, Oceanic, the South American ones, the US ones, all of them said locked. And so they had a massive DDoS attack or whatever that just destroyed all their servers, and you could not play the game Friday night.
I don't know if you can call it an attack. It's more of a DDoS circumstance, to be honest, because that implies there was criminal intention behind it.
Well, no, they tracked it as somebody. They tracked it as an actual attack. It wasn't because the servers were maximized from so many people hitting it. There was an actual attack against them, against Blizzard, and it locked down their servers on launch.
Attack, then.
So there was a massive attack that went against Blizzard. So
That's
yes,
insane. What kind of attack must that have been for it to be that large?
I am
scale?
not sure. You could probably go query it. I don't know. I just saw some quick
That's
news report
insane.
saying that it occurred, but there was a big coordinated attack against Blizzard servers, and it locked them out. So couldn't get into it. So broke off, and I came back Friday night real late or something, and or actually it might have been Saturday morning, but they'd resolved the problem at some point. Got in there, and I created to try to be completely different from all my previous experiences. I created a female character for one, never do that. Alliance character,
button instead.
because I never do that. A warrior, because I've never done that. Well, I did Draenei for all of like 5 minutes. And a Worgen, because I've never done that. So I put all of the factors of like, what is the opposite of how I've played this game in the past, and put that all together and see if I can now go through it and give it a new assessment of, do I like WoW? And so that's where I'm going. I hit level 16, I think, last night on my Worgen warrior. I'm still at a point where I've yet to be in a situation where I need to group with anybody. And I'm trying to remember when it is that you first get to quests that you kind of need somebody else with you.
Quests? You won't have any quests like that. Quests don't do that anymore.
Well, that's the thing, because I remember there were some that advertised it would probably be best to bring 2 or 3 people with you. Some of them.
So originally, back in the day, there used to be some that required you to have like 5, unless you were a guy who's really good with this hunter or something. Otherwise, yeah, there were some that needed it, some that was required, and it'd be nice, and some that you had to have, But nowadays, it slowly went down and less, and then there was only a couple of group quests per place, then there was only some in TBC, and now unless you want to do instances, you will not have any group quests.
Okay, well that's good to be aware of. That's good to know, because so far I will give a positive assessment of my experience, because now granted I've played these games for a while, so I see what they're doing, but how they went through and gave the introduction for someone that if you've never played, how the mechanics part of it, right? Because in the Worgen it's nice because it's a late enough instantiation of the early quests that they have things like phasing in it. They have a lot of like the vehicle introduction where you're riding vehicles and having to bomb things and do stuff. They have mechanics where they give you mounts, but then you can't control them yet. They just show you that mounts exist and take you along the world. And so little things like that.
Yeah.
And even to the first time you have to walk to a second story in one of the areas to find somebody. They're really good at crafting that introduction experience where it's easy for anybody to get into the game. So I was impressed by that. And the storyline stuff, there were a couple glitches in the story where I was like, yeah, you see, you screwed up. You didn't really give me that, letting me know that that's what was happening to me, that I was the main character that this happened to. You didn't use the right words or set me up for it, because they also showed that cool thing where they're doing little cutscenes in the game. Mini cutscenes through parts of it. I was like, that's pretty slick. That's not something they had in vanilla. And,
I love that, yeah.
So I'm giving credit where due. If you want to go check it out, I've streamed several instances of it on my Twitch, and I may go back through and highlight to keep it, to see if I can make this a running thing. But on my Twitch account, you can go check out what I've done so far and my experience with, including some of the glitches of trying to get into the game, and some of the things I broke probably with making this break for us doing the show today, as I was trying to set up for the stream. But I did all that. I'm enjoying the game at the moment. Again, it's just I'm questing, and I'm trying to be objective. I'm curious what's going to happen when I finally get into the social aspect. I say this for a couple reasons. One, I've already had people sit there and be like, oh, Doc, you playing again? You got to come play with us. Come over to this server. We're already max rating, and we're going to do these things. I'm like, hold on. I am not there. I am not at a position where I'm ready to start grouping with rating, right? No, I'm still just trying to re-experience the game. And I have tunes I could probably go do that, but I feel like if I do it too soon, it's going to taint my experience for leveling up and trying to do this process of figuring out if I like the game again or not. So I'm trying to hold off. I say this because there is some advantage there, right? We have a lot of people still playing. One of those, Aristil, is trying to push right now to get a lot of people. He's trying to do a revitalization with Warlords of Draenor launch of getting the VTW clan going back again. I forget what server he said that they're on right now. I'd have to go back and look, but he is actively recruiting to get everybody back to playing together. I think they're playing Alliance side right now, but whichever server. And because they have cross-realm and things like that, there's a chance that you don't even have to move tunes or anything. You could just go and be a part of the overall experience. I know that like Tabaxi and all those guys and Roxy and all of them are playing Horde side. Again, I forget which server, but they have some high level. So there's a couple groups out there within the VTW community that are really pressing and doing things with World of Warcraft. So be aware of that. If you want to check it out, if you're already in the game and don't have interactions with VTW, there's some opportunities out there. Hopefully people will post stuff on the forums, make it easier to get everyone together. All right. So with that, yes, I paid for a month of WoW, 1 month. I'll be
I don't know
playing
what's worse, the fact that
probably
you've
the
done
most.
that, or the fact that you're a lion scum, or the fact that you're a furry.
All the things that you hate, Ken, except for WoW. Yes. Like I said, I'm trying something new and seeing if I enjoy it. So far, I enjoy the Worgen storyline. It's also, and the reason I really enjoy it more than anything, Ken, is because it deals with the information about the undead and the plague more than the undead does. At low level, because you're right on the other side of the wall from where the undead's questing and where their main city is, it's talking actively about that, and a lot of the pre-20 is all dealing with the poison quest stuff from the undead. It's like, there's the continuation of my story. Why the heck did I have to go to Alliance to hear about this? So that's my challenge. And this is low level, so it's not even going to Wrath where it all culminates, right? And so that has kept me involved more so than a lot of the rest of it. Because the actual turning over to a Worgen I thought was a little contrived and a little convenient for the way, because they start you out where you're actually killing Worgen, and you're a human and you're against them, and then you get bitten. But they don't really go into it other than you have a little status thing that says, oh, you're not feeling so good. And then when you do change, it's kind of so quick that they don't do a good job of highlighting what happened and that you just gave into the beast at that point. And so I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, they could have had a lot more fun, but I suppose that's where role playing comes in. I guess. I mean, like, genuinely, I guess that there'd be a lot of role play behind that. Like, you could have your character be against it and actually have fits and being mad about it and stuff. You know.
Yeah, just you could do little more comments, more people noticing. Like other characters could say things like, "Hey, are you all right?" And have you like snap at somebody or something like that. You know, where something's wrong. Instead, it kind of just happens. And they do a cutscene, but even in that cutscene, I thought it didn't really say that was me that was changing to a Worgen. It just said Worgen's attacked. Kind of like, yeah, okay. And then the next scene is when you finally start to get it that you're already a Worgen, you're in a jail, and the guys come and talk to you. Have you given yourself to the beast, or are you still a human? And that was the first time I was like, oh, that's me. Okay. Now, I gotcha. I was just like, ugh. So they kind of missed that a little bit in their crafting. So I caught little pieces that were not the best, but still pretty good. With this, I've just gotten back out into the real world at that 15 realm. Now it sent me over to the Night Elf tree initially. Was it Theridus or something? I forget all the names, but so I'm in Darkshore right now, and just going through that little area. I still have my rants about little things like, gosh, I remember back in the day, you had to walk somewhere and get a flight path. Yeah, they didn't just give you flight paths to the whole continent. What's that? So I still have some of that because I opened up my first flight path thing. I'm just like, everywhere. I can go anywhere right now. Meh. So I'm enjoying it. It's gorgeous. I'm trying to, in the sense that it runs beautifully on my machine. And the textures are minimal. Like they could really use a high-res update across the board. Just saying. You know, Blizzard, pay some artists to just go through all of your stuff. Like one of these modders who goes through Skyrim and takes vanilla textures and makes them 4K. Hire one of them for a year and just have them go through all of your textures and make them high-res and make an extra pack.
The problem is they're trying to adhere to the masses, right? And the truth is, the masses won't be able to control those kind of graphics, and the masses will be upset by the fact that they have it on less than maximum. That's the truth.
That's their fault, and you say then upgrade. And they do talk about that in the documentary, how they really did make WoW for the masses. But there's so many games out there that have the option of low-res, high-res, right? Where, if it's not running well for you, just reduce to the low-res, right? WoW already has it. You get to the point where as you're loading the game initially, it has to play, and then they have optimal, right? You can start playing, and it'll be kind of low-res, and it'll just work. And then you have wait for everything to load. And they have a high-res option in there, or something with updated graphics. But they could do so much more. And since, guys, you aren't making Titan, since you're making... was it Overwatch? Or what? Yeah, instead, moved all your assets to that. Why don't you go back and revisit that WoW is going to be your one MMO and make it gorgeous? just saying. So, yeah. So that's what I've been doing with WoW. And yes, everyone can kind of bang on me for the fact that I'm coming back, but I'm trying to give it a real solid revisit assessment to see, is this a place that I could come back, maybe get into the community again, start gaming with friends and stuff that I enjoy, and start playing games. Because right now, my multiplayer experience is the first-person shooters with all of 3 or 4 people I play with regularly. Outside of that, I just haven't been gaming with the masses. And I feel bad about that, because I think it is a lot of fun to have groups that you go to and you know the personalities. And you see, people talk about it all the time. It's not just WoW. Any of these online experiences in these games with MMOs that you tend to get community. You tend to get friends that you've met in game that it's so amazing then to go to and experience together elsewhere, and you have like you meet up at a convention or something like that. And so I kind of want to see if I can get into that again.
We already kind of have that though, dude. That's where ours came from, isn't it? Like that's what this whole VTW thing came from. Was originally just a bunch of people who had that sort of gaming in common, like specifically WoW, and then so on and so forth. It's good that you're trying it out. I mean, that is back to our roots, isn't it? In general,
it is, and I say, yes, but it's just one of those things that I want to give it another shot. It is our roots, but that's the thing. It's still out there, and so we'll see. Because no other MMO has grabbed me. The next things I'm looking at are Star Citizen in that persistent world. But that's still a ways away. Beyond that, EverQuest Next, maybe. But I'm not like, oh my god, I gotta play that. It's just cool tech. So I'm willing to look at WoW again. So we'll see. You may see me reaching out here in the near future and go from there. So anyhow, that has been my Week in Geek. Weeks in Geek, if you will. It is time, and we're not going to take a break because we broke the show earlier. I broke the show earlier. So instead, we're going to transition right away into our Geekoscope.
Then I got to finish my geek stuff. I've only done one so far, sir.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, because we couldn't hear me. Continue, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got a couple of games I've been playing. First of all, I've been picking up Spore a little bit. And originally, I was going to play it as like normal characters and try to make normal, efficient things in the game. But it's far too easy to make crazy, weird monsters. So I've got these really long creatures that have originally their head was just really far forward.
Did you make more hentai creatures, or what did you make, Ken?
Effectively. So originally the neck was like this thing that had two big legs at his back. It was sort of like cow shaped. But imagine less length, much taller. Then imagine its like neck. It got extended massively, so it was really long neck.
Okay.
More like an ostrich leaning forward. Then I thought, I can make this look more silly. So I made the have knees. I made its arms make triangles, giant triangles. I don't know why. And its head goes round its back, underneath its ass, underneath its genitalia, and points forward that way. And then it's got two arms that go under its legs.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're very long as well. So when it runs, they flop around. So it's quite funny. And it's got this mouth that looks like horribly like teethy and disgusting. So it just looks the weirdest, disgusting creature that will eat you alive. And I've made them extremely aggressive, and so I've been messing around with that. And a kitten came over and looked on the screen and went, "Why?" So that went well. Been enjoying that. It was only a good like 20 minutes of play. I don't think I'm gonna play it seriously. I'm just messing around.
Just to make things. You should really take screenshots and post them out on the forum.
I
so we
should
can see
actually. Yeah.
Ken's creativity and tentacle porn.
Creativity. Okay.
We'll call that the post. We'll put that in there. Somebody make that thread in the Show X one. The Ken's tentacle porn creativity thread.
Great. That'll be on my search history forever.
Yes.
The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. This is a free game on Steam. It's I tried it many free games like 2 weeks ago. I decided to try some out because I was getting bored with playing LoL all the time.
Gotcha.
So I picked it up and I decided to look around. It seemed like a TD kind of game, but you can also attack other fortresses, other towers sort of things.
Okay.
And I went in and the art style is really nice. It's kind of cartoony but nice. The story, it's not really a story. It's kind of like a kind of intro story. It says you won the lottery. Now you get to join the city in the sky because you're that rich.
Nice.
And there's all these castles. They're on floating rocks. And each of them, because they're so rich, have to defend themselves. So they've got all these like monsters and traps and turrets and stuff that you use to defend yourself. And so you got to put that together, and then you get like a mine, which is where you get your money from for the future. And you can also invade other castles. So it's quite fun. It's lots of like when you go into the game, you're sitting on top of your main tower, looking across the skyscape, looking at all these other tens of cities on the clouds. You can click on each one and be like, I'm going to attack that one, and you jump into it and you go and try their maze of towers and defenses. And you unlock like gold and different resources to help you upgrade stuff, and it's cool. The only downside with this entire thing is the fact that it's, instead of being like a free-to-play game and that's it, it's free-to-play with, pay to win. Some of it's cosmetic, which is totally cool. If that's how the company wants to make money, I'm totally fine with cosmetic stuff. However, you can actually pay to win items and pay to win rooms and different turrets and stuff. And it's just like, At that point, it's no longer, the best thing ever. It's just kind of saddening at that point. However, I'm still enjoying it for what it is. I've never been at the point yet where I've been like, oh, I'm against this guy who is paid to win and now I suck. So far, I've been pretty much squishing all the competition. The problem is, attacking's easy, right? Because everybody's kind of on the same scale there. They have a main champion that they can upgrade and get some items for. It's kind of RPG-ish. And they have like 4 spells they can use with their character. But otherwise, we're pretty much the exact same. We all have the same kind of champions. There's not a huge difference. But the castle, you can customize it so much that you can make a truly indestructible one or a really squishy one. And most of them, I'm looking around the whole screen, most of them are yellow and green. Like, I'd say 95% are yellow and green. Meaning that they're easy or medium. Meaning between 0% and 50% win rate. Looking around on this one screen that I'm in, there's only 2 red. Meaning there's only 2 out of like 30 or something that are actually any challenge that says, no, you will struggle to do this. And one of them was made by the AI. So, it's tough to actually properly defend your castles. So anybody can make money, and it's easy to level up through that, but it's tough to defend yourself, and it takes true creativity and understanding of the game. So I've been okay. I think I've had like I've won against 2 defenses and lost 2, so I've got 50%, so I'm medium at the moment. So that's not too bad considering I just started last week. Quite happy with that. So yeah, I've been enjoying messing around with this game. It's good fun. I've been playing it on and off. It's not really my main game at the moment, but it's just a good thing. When I get sick of LoL, I'm like, I'm going to play this game instead. Mighty Quest for epic loot, that kind of thing. But if you go in there, I don't know how it works with friends and stuff. It'd be cool if we could hang out if anybody's interested in there. See me in there at some point. Feel free to join me, and we'll see what we can do together. Mighty Quest for epic loot. Nice. Lastly, believe it or not, I've been playing some League of Legends. I know it's weird.
Hey, so, we played today before the show until you didn't realize that ARAMs have a massive leaving timer.
Leaving buster
punishment
thing,
for dropping. Yes.
So last week I was describing how I was playing League on a new account, a second account on EU, partly so I could avoid lag, and partly because I was absolutely peeved at the fact that I kept losing on America's side in ranked. And so I wanted to win something and make me feel good about myself, which I did, and I'd say I've done that successfully. However, that account is now banned.
What?
So, one thing I forgot is that it's not going to be just me going in there against easy people. It's going to be going in against leavers and assholes and the worst of the worst. People who need to make new accounts because their main ones are banned. So there's a lot of people just being complete and utter douchebags. And I described the situation last week where I left the game because I was the only one winning and only one plus on our team. And yet everybody was flaming each other and me. And I said, you know what, screw this, and left. I'll leave you guys to suffer and fail without me.
Yep.
And that same situation happened twice more. And I said, you know what, this is just so depressing. Like, I don't want to play with these people. I don't want to just pretend that I don't hear them. I don't want to have to mute every time I go into a game. I just don't want to play with this toxic community, so I just quit the game and let them suffer. Because I'd rather these people suffer and have bad experiences because they're bad behaved than let them win for me.
That makes you a bad teammate, Ken.
I know it does. You're right. But why would I even make myself do any good and help by my own team when I don't care for them? So I left several games and I've been banned on EU, which is funny. I think it's only a week ban or something, but still. It's probably actually gone off by now, but it's still hilarious. So I went back to North America and I've been playing so many games, but for the first time ever, I got above 6,300 IP. Meaning I could buy any champion in LoL because I had that much IP available. And so I was like, what champion do I want to buy? And I was looking through, there's like 20 or so left that I haven't got. And I thought, you know what? Not a single one of these appeals to me. Not a single one.
Yeah.
So I did something most people probably dislike me for, but I bought another rune page. So
what's wrong with that?
I can min-max myself a bit more, but it's like, why am I buying something that's not really content in the game? Why am I not paying for content with these with virtual money? Surely I should be, getting characters and trying out new things, but I was just like,
hey, you say that. I'm sitting in my little account with 19,000 RP and 60,000, I think it is, IP right now, right? Because there's nothing I really want to buy. There's no skins I have to have. There's no...
No, but you always buy your friend Ken something.
I did buy you a skin, so shush yourself.
You did. I mean, one.
What?
If you have 19,
what? You think you need more? It's only 19. I mean, that goes quick. You never know when they might release something I need, an epic skin somewhere. Like, I'm tempted to get all the arcade skins. Tempted. But
I've already got the arcade.
They're all expensive. But so no, I feel your pain because I have almost 20 champs that I don't own, and I could probably buy all of them right now with both my RP and IP. I could get all of them, but I have no desire because they're characters I don't want to play. You know, it's like Yasuo and stuff and others. I'm just like, yeah, they may be considered the best midder right now, but it's like I don't want to play it. Yeah, I'm not a competitive LoL player, right? I still play because I like certain champions, like our match this morning, where. You know, you forced me into another regular, 5-man instead of me playing at my comfortable little ARAMs. And now, granted, the new map's pretty and seems to run just fine, the new Summoner's Rift. But going onto it, and you're like, all right, fine. If you're going to be jungle, I don't want to go bottom lane with somebody I don't care, as you're loading up League right now. And
Fine.
So I'll go mid lane. And if I'm going to go mid lane, then I'll just go Ziggs because he's like cheat to me because he's so much fun and I tend to do well with him. And we proceeded to wreck the other team.
Yep.
I haven't got to surrender that quick in quite some time. And
Yeah, it was quite satisfying.
Yeah, it did feel good.
I was very surprised. I was kind of sad, actually, because we won so quickly we didn't get to have any fun with it. I was like, I wanted to kill these guys.
You had successful ganks out of the jungle as Warwick. You know, you definitely took out. I killed many people as Ziggs. I went, 6-0-6 by the time they surrendered, and you were, what?
I was 0-1-6 or something.
Yeah, you're all mad because you were 0. Because you had no kills yourself. But that's the thing. You did the epic job where you fed me kills. You came mid lane and I got the kills. Exactly like you should.
Every other game I've played as Warwick in the past week, I've gone and left with 22-10 or something each time. And I'm just like, yes! And this time when I play with you, you walk away with all the kills. And I was sitting there simmering and just... I wanted at least one of those. At least one.
Exactly. But no, so LoL's still fun.
Yeah. I've been thoroughly enjoying it. The team builder, I'm glad they've released this new map. I went and played a ranked match yesterday, and I just didn't enjoy it that much because I've been really enjoying the new map, and it just felt icky, and I don't know why, but it felt. You know how you might get some tension when you play ranked, and you're sort of like, oh man, this is gonna. I got this one actually matters. I got to try a bit harder because my rank's actually going to make a difference here. And I usually feel that a bit of a twinge. Sometimes it gets me excited, but this time I went into it, and since it was a different map, I was like, oh man, this is ranked, and I got min max, and I got to make sure I go here at the right time. I don't know why it made me feel very mathematical with the whole thing. I had to min max my times and everything. Yep. And it made me enjoy it less because I wasn't actually thinking, I'm in this landscape, I'm in a forest. It was instead I am playing ranked. You know?
Ranked is not fun. Ranked is the challenge you do amongst friends to see how well you're doing. That's why I play so many ARAMs, because ARAMs to me are just fun because I have essentially no care if I really win or lose. I would like to perform well, but I understand the game is such that it's like, meh, if I lose, it's no big deal. I just hope I play well. With the regular 5-mans, it's kind of like, it's still a little more stress because now people are counting on me to do a role. Like I was complaining when we were playing, I couldn't last hit to save myself. I was outlast hitting Vigar. I didn't realize that until I checked the score part way through, but it felt to me because I missed so many that I was aware of. I was just like, God, I should have 20% more, minion kills. This is making me mad. Yeah. And it is that level because now I'm trying to perform at that level. If it's an ARAM, I'm just happy if I throw a bomb and it hits somebody. I'm poking you down. I feel good for that, Yeah. So it is a different kind of game, and that's the case across the board. It's that two sides of any gaming where for me, and I'm curious for everyone out there what you think, always on any of our discussions, what your take is on kind of our opinions, but I play so many games that I just want to have fun with. That I don't really care, right? That the experience is fun. The games that I get competitive, and so it's even so when I play Modern Warfare or something like that, when I'm playing COD, there's a level of I'm with my friends playing, it's like I need to do well. And so I feel bad if I'm not performing at my peak. Yeah. Where in other games like League or even, Titanfall's even more so, where I can have more fun with it. Which is nice because then when I do succeed, I'm cheering myself woo! And just, it's a great time. Versus, then when I'm getting killed, I still do that's BS, but it's not as bad because I know I'm going to jump in and do whatever else. So League kind of gets both of that, where it'll be times I'm really enjoying myself because I'm just playing and it's whatever, I don't care. Or I'm with friends and it's just having fun, to the other ones where it's must perform. And that even ties to, where with WoW, how in that one, when I was getting to raids where it was you must perform, and talking to friends having the same issue where it's a friend of mine getting basically yelled at by a raid leader for not doing enough DPS as a Shadow Priest. And his complaint was, I was doing DPS until your healer failed to carry the tank, at which point I switched to my heal spec for a moment, saved the tank, which lost some deeps, turned back to my damage spec and started continuing to contribute. But nobody saw that because all they were looking at were the numbers on the DPS that he was providing, and so he's getting yelled at. At which point it makes you as a gamer say, F this, now I don't want to participate with you guys. You've just made this game not fun. And so, things like that. So, yeah, I hear you.
Yep, definitely. And I agree. I hate that stuff because people get so into it, they get so into the generic. This is what we do. This is your job. You're not doing your job, therefore you're failing. That's not the way it works. I mean, if you're a general employee at a big company and you do your job poorly, but you save the company $7 million through some other idea, you're still doing a good job, even though that wasn't your initial
maybe
job,
just not what was originally prescribed.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and that's the thing. If I've talked about it before in other games like Battlefield 4, I tend to suffer gaming that one directly. Sometimes I'm doing okay and I feel fine, but other times I just feel like I'm not able to kill as quickly as I should. And so it's kind of a stress. There's enough people on the map I don't feel as bad as some games because there's so many other people that I can't carry by myself. But I still want to contribute. I keep thinking if I played Battlefield just to do tomfoolery in the game, just do silly things, I would probably have more fun with it. Where if my goal in the group is not to necessarily win the match so much as this time we're going to play birthday cake. This time we're going to, all lawn dart all of our jets into the same target at once just for the fun of it to see what happens. That would be entertaining, right? Where we're making a game within the game. In WoW, if I get to a point where people want to play with me, know that I am probably just going to play the game kind of like however I play. And if you ever expect me to gear in a certain way, I mean, if you want a role where I'm doing DPS versus tankers, I'm going to try to do tanking, being a warrior, right? Never have done that. But let me play kind of how I want.
As a,
well, right now I'm
warrior.
Fury Spect, so as a warrior. So I haven't done the full, defensive, whatever version that one is. But it has this defensive stance and stuff, so I don't know. We'll see. As I'm going through new mechanics, never done it, we'll see. But if you play with me ever, don't dictate to me how I need to play as much as you can advise that in this encounter, you want to try to do this and avoid these things. Great. I can do that with the strategy. Beyond that, don't ever dictate how I play my character. And that's just a big thing. All right, need to get off this so we can at least talk about a little bit of news, since we're about to run out of time here. And I know there are a few stories I want to bring up, as I see you typing in there as well.
So many stories.
Exactly. So we'll jump right in and say...
Technology, news, and more today on the Geekoscope.
I had one specifically for you, Ken, to start things out. So, this one coming to me, as always, I aggregate through my News 360 app because I love it, and it allows me to see so much of the news things. But this one coming to you says, from CNN, Snapchat will now warn you if another app saves your photo. So, for people like Ken, who've had this opportunity to use third-party apps, especially on Android, to sneak out and steal your snaps in the fallout from the whole, whatever they call it, the snappening, they have gone forward to say that they're now going to be more aware of when it is that other apps are actually reaching in and grabbing the photos that are being pushed through the Snapchat app. And so with that, you will now know regardless if somebody did keep that probably ill-advised photo that you sent them. So, quick note out to everybody, Snapchat's trying to do the right thing.
I did see that, yeah. And, it's good and all, but, that's a shame as well at the same time, because there was always a lot of fun coming out of it as well, even though there was some bad stuff, of course, people losing their privacy, but it's always funny to see all these, because most of them were like cat pictures, right? I mean, most of the snapping was
the snapping, they say there's a ton of just nonsense, yeah.
There's a ton of people just being like, pictures of clouds, a nice photography.
Hey, I look at half of the stuff that ends up coming through my Snapchat, and yes, it's cats, weird faces, and every once in a while, like a music that somebody's at a concert or something. That's pretty much what I see.
Yeah. That's you expect it to be all like, oh, I'm gonna see boobs and ass. It's gonna be great.
Not so much.
Unless it's your drunk male friend. No.
Exactly, which you probably don't want to see anyways.
Which is usually me, by the way. Thankfully, I don't have a phone at the moment.
No, instead we tend to get hairy-chested, mostly bare-chested Ken. Yes.
Don't worry, I'm going to try and get a new phone for Christmas. So don't worry.
Let's see.
Let's go with this one first.
You have a lot of articles suddenly. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I call this one JRPG. So, Valkyria Chronicles tops the Steam charts in the past week.
Ah, yes.
It reached number 1 in download charts in the first 24 hours following release. It's an impressive feat in a week that's seen several other big-name releases, such as Halo Master Chief Collection, as well as new entries in the Assassin's Creed franchise, says IGN. The strategy RPG, which was originally released for PS3 back in 2008, was released on Steam yesterday. Its move to PC was announced just a couple of weeks ago, so that's pretty cool. They just announced it and released it. I like that. IGN placed this in the top 10 role-playing stories of all time. Okay, good for you, IGN. Glad to hear it. I've never been a fan of JRPGs because I don't particularly like anime, so that kind of ruins that for me. Although there's a guy at work, this new guy that started, seems like quite I don't know, like a kind of, I don't want to call him a jock, but kind of like a tougher kind of guy. He seems like the kind of guy that seems like he'd be into sport maybe. And I was like, so how you spend your time tonight, man? He's like, I just travel a lot and just sleep. That's it really. I was like, come on, what do you really do? I'm a gamer. What do you do? He's like, I've been watching a lot of anime. I've been watching Naruto again the second time. And,
nice.
And I was like, all right, okay. I have a few friends that you'd really like to chat to, actually. I was like, no, I've only watched a few things, The Legend of Korra and a little bit of Attack on Titan. He goes, oh man, you watched Attack on Titan? Ah! He totally freaks out. So
nice.
It's good that I've watched at least a bit of that to make him feel welcome, the new guy at work. Anyway, so that came out in the top of the charts. So that's cool.
That is interesting.
Let me jump on another one while I'm here.
Oh, look at you. Jump in.
Okay, Never Alone, release date revealed. It's a snowy, moody platformer. This downloadable title will cost $15 and is coming to PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Developed by Upper One Games, Never Alone is a unique puzzle platform game that explores the culture and folklore of the Alaskan natives through the story of a young Inupiat girl called Nuna, who is accompanied by her accompanied by her Arctic fox companion. The Inupiat community has helped shape Never Alone's story through narrative critique and gameplay feedback. In their preview, they said it has the potential to capture a rare mix of excitement, education, and beauty. So it does look like quite a pretty game, actually, and I'm tempted to get that myself just for that. And it looks like a different take. It's like it's following a different route than most games these days, so that's nice.
Very cool.
Kind of looking forward to that one.
Outstanding. All right, I'm going to do the same you do. I'm going to do two. First one. This is more just a rant on my part, but gosh, I want feedback, people, because maybe it's just me. But in the United States, one of our political parties has suddenly decided to take a new look at a topic out there that's dear to gamers. So this article coming from Raw Story, but it's it captures a theme that's been going on a while. Just recently, it essentially says the Tea Party, which is one of these kind of offshoots of the Conservative Party here in the U.S., attacks net neutrality and says that treating all websites the same isn't fair. And so it goes through and just real briefly, it says, the Tea Party group FreedomWorks released a video denouncing net neutrality just days after President Barack Obama announced strong support for regulations to require internet providers to treat all web traffic equally. I think that statement alone right there is the cusp of where I'm in with this article. I'm going to read the first quote, but it says, supporters of the plan call it a free and open internet, but in reality, it's anything but. The same speed, the same prices, the same access, but all web content isn't equal. Netflix is not the same as a high school blog, and YouTube certainly isn't the same as Facebook. They serve very different purposes and they have very different needs. By dictating that all these sites be treated the same, net neutrality makes small companies that don't take up as much bandwidth at all pay more so that big companies can pay less. They also say that that's not the kind of equality the internet needs. It says that net neutrality is not a level playing field. It's an anti-competitive policy that protects the internet's biggest companies at the expense of everyone else. All right. The reason I bring that up is because I want to call out to everyone, BS! That Tea Party, you are full of crap. Everyone who's been a supporter of internet freedom, things like that, have gone through net neutrality back and forth and show that net neutrality is the best way we can go instead of allowing companies to create these tiered services that really only protect big companies. Where they say that now that's what we'd be doing. No, it would be them being able to set up these private deals like we currently see for Netflix to try to make sure their streaming goes consistently good. And we see there's reports, you can go back in when, was it Time Warner or whomever dropped Netflix's service and basically held them at ransom until they paid more. And then you saw the streaming content go up and how well the service worked. That's what we're trying to avoid. I see this strictly as conservative idiots who hate the current administration doing what the United States' political system has failed at the most recently, which is they don't champion or go against anything because it's the right thing for the American people or what their constituents want. They do it because they have to be on one side or the other of an issue. And that's it. It is because it is the current administration saying that they support net neutrality, that these yokels are going out there and saying we don't. And thus confusing the issue, because it's not about trying to do politics in America right now, because there are a bunch of asshats that are trying to lock down the system instead of allowing any true progression. And it's both sides. I don't blame one or the other, it's both sides. But this is one of those specific issues that everyone should be able to get behind and say that the only people that benefits to get net neutrality are the ISPs and large companies. That's it.
Yep.
It doesn't benefit us as users. And so it really pisses me off that they come out and try to say all this nonsense about how, oh no, net neutrality is going to hurt the little man. We've proven time and time again that that's crap. And you're doing this just to muddle the issue because it's the current administration who's supporting it. Stop. Do the right thing for a change. Focus on real issues and stop getting all this BS.
To be fair, they're probably also getting paid off by these companies.
Oh yeah, no, that's part of it, right? Because they have their own interest groups behind it, but just pisses me off.
Yeah.
All right.
There's actually a question on the Barack Obama from 2 years ago. AMA asked me anything on Reddit that I remembered when we started talking about this. And the question is: we know how Republicans feel about protecting internet freedom. Is internet freedom an issue you'd like to push? You'd push to add to the Democratic Party's 2012 platform? The answer is internet freedom is something I know you all care about passionately. I do too. We will fight hard to make sure the internet remains the open forum for everybody, from those who are expressing idea to those who want to start a business. And although there will be the occasional disagreement on the details of various legislative proposals, I won't stray from that principle, and it will be reflected in the platform, says Obama. So, it's good that the current president has the balls to stand behind what's actually important here. Regardless of any parties and opposite sides, etc. That at least there's that. I still have the opinion of Barack Obama's a cool guy from the original campaign, which is kind of bad because I don't know anything about him. So anyway,
well, and you being external and stuff like that, yeah. So, and just as a follow up on that, because it's saying about how this supports companies, the companies out there, and this is an older article, that are spending the most against lobbying to try to kill net neutrality, anything about it. There's a post in here that has a graphic on it, the link I just provided. It says, number one companies trying to kill net neutrality: Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, National Cable Telecommunications Association, the National Music Publishers Association, and then it goes through where it says AOL, Level 3, Time Warner, Google, Microsoft, Apollo Investment, Cablevision, basically all the providers out there, Dish, all of them are trying to kill net neutrality because they would have to just provide access to the internet. And it would help us if it was net neutral to not have them ever snooping in to our business. I would love for an ISP somewhere to come out with the balls and say, all we do is connect you to the internet. Everything else is up to you. You pay us, we give you connection. Beyond that, we don't give a rat's arse what you do with it. We're just providing you the bits. Because that's all I want. So, that's my rant and rave. And I will let that go because unfortunately I don't think we'll have time to get into the next topics I'd like to go into, because I'd really love to bring up what's going on with Ubisoft and things like that, but I think we're running out of time. So Ken, do you have one more for us that we can get through in the next couple minutes?
Yes, one very quick one. This is about YouTube and Google behind it. So, YouTube announces, starting today, this is from a few days ago probably, 12th of November. Starting today, YouTube is taking a more direct approach to the music offered via its streaming video service. While official music videos and even user-uploaded tracks have become a staple of YouTube, the new Music Key service offers the option of ad-free listening and viewing. According to YouTube's blog, a new music category will now appear in your YouTube mobile apps and web interface, displaying recommendations for artists based on what you've listened to previously. Additionally, the YouTube music section will recommend playlists. Great. Over the coming days, YouTube will also roll out a new option to listen to an artist's whole album. A nice touch when compared to searching your way through a discography track by track. But if you're really dedicated to watching and listening to music on YouTube, the new Music Key subscription service offers music without ads, the ability to keep listening even if you lock the screen of your mobile device, that's a virtual wall, and offline music playback. The service is currently in an invitation-only beta with a promotional price of $8 a month, or US dollars regularly is going to be $10 though. The subscription also offers access to Google Play Music, which includes over 30 million songs for streaming. Not a bad service, however, considering it's currently free and done through ads, it's pretty annoying, and I just hope that this doesn't mean there's going to be increased ads. That's what that screams.
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
the side of that, right? Because you don't want a company, because they're pushing a new service, to then try to forcibly get you into it. It's kind of the joke we've made with
Really,
iOS
yeah.
and stuff that Apple's done, where it's kind of like all of a sudden it feels as though we've gotten, my old 4S is now acting poorly in the newest version of iOS 8 or whatever, where all the new systems are, they're running fine, as though it almost feels like they're trying to hurry up, push, we want you to buy new things, upgrade. It's things like that, where suddenly we start seeing more ads than we used to when it was free, to say, hey, but we've got this option here, you just pay a little bit, and you get it all free, without. So, hopefully they don't do that. So far, I still think Google's been doing the right thing with most stuff. In answer, this seems like they're just doing what, everyone else, Pandora and Spotify, all the other kind of companies out there have done, where they support through ads and then say, here you go. Which is funny, though, because like the playlist thing, there's so many people out there that create playlists of artists that you can listen to a whole album without having to query. You just grab the top link that comes up for the album that says, here's all the songs in order and all the videos. So they already kind of have that feature, so that's interesting.
Well, if they change nothing else, I don't care. And at the very least, they already offering some new features for those that currently don't pay and won't pay. That's fine. I don't care. Good for them. If it makes them extra money and people actually enjoy the service, great. But I'm currently fine with it with ads. I've always used YouTube for listening to music the past couple of years, and it's been fine for me. I use my favorites in my YouTube profile for that, so it does not affect me one bit. And if it started to, I'd go back to Last.fm.
Exactly. No, that's the problem, right? There's enough other options out there that they have to be careful, because if they did something a little too much, we'll all just go elsewhere. So.
Definitely.
All right, with that, it is time for us to start wrapping up the show. Sorry for the misgivings at the beginning of the show, where my technicalities did lose us some time, but we're going to have Ken wrap things up for us so we can pass it off to casuals on Alpha Geek Media. So, Ken, please, feel free.
It's part of our charm, our technical difficulties. You have been listening to Show X on VTLProductions.com. We will be back next week. I'll be slightly more beardy. Wayne will be slightly more fro-y, and it'll be good as always. Check us out. Actually, I won't be back. Check us out at www.VTLProductions.com. Check out all the shows there. They're all very good. Check us out on patreon.com/showx. Give us $1 a month and make us very, very, very happy. Send in emails to showx@VTLProductions.com to also make us happy, but not as happy as the previous one, but still pretty happy. Find us on Twitter. Follow us on twitter.com/VTWShowX, twitter.com/.dev, twitter.com/GoHex to find us there. The show, Wayne and myself, respectively. Check us out on Facebook. Go to ShowX on Facebook. Just search for it. You'll find us very easily. Also, like us and Versus the World Productions there as well. Other than that, we have the VTW Gaming Night every single Sunday straight after ShowX. I rarely take part these days, but Wayne still regularly jumps on, and so do a bunch of the listeners. So jump in there, say hi, come hang out, and play some games. I will not be on tonight, sadly, because I owe Kitten the last day of her holiday to play Sims on the gaming PC. So yeah, and I have cake to eat. So there's that. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for having me on the show, Mr. Wayne. I look forward to being back in 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely. So good luck. Have fun next week, and we will catch you all again in the morrows on the next week. So see you on the gaming night, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. See you in the next zombie.